still missing.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, all protocols observed, ODM members, mko tayari? Haya, asante sana. I don't have a speech because you never warned me I'm going to make a speech. So I'll be very brief. First, let me take this opportunity to congratulate ODM for making it to 20 years. I think you are only second to KANU, and quite a number of all of us also came from KANU. So congratulations, and as the SG said, not the current one, the old one. To say no to reject what we call the Kilifi draft, Wako draft. I saw Wako here. What Wako? Yeah, Yukule, yeah, Wako, Amos Wako. We rejected your draft. We went to the IEBC to choose a symbol. And when we got there, I was there, when we got there, we too had two, on one hand a banana and an orange on the other. And I remember very well, very clearly, him giving us a banana. He gave us on this hand, but then took it back and gave us the orange. So we grabbed the orange. I always wondered what would have happened if we had taken the banana. Anyway, we were lucky. We got the banana, we got the orange, and the banana ended up with the other side, and they became bananas. And then, fast forward, after the campaign, we campaigned so hard as a team. Now we in KANU, together with the President and Honorable Musalia, and quite a number, with the LDP group. At that time, we in KANU, we had lost 2002 elections, and actually the government that came in persecuted us, particularly people from Rift Valley. They were sacked, those in the military, those in the police force, those in parastatals. They were sacked left, right, center, until, I think the President remembers this, we said, please, enough is enough. Don't continue, persecuting us. And we tried to create a dialogue to stop the persecution, because we had lost quite a number of people. Imagine, there was 20 senior police officers who were one day told, out, get out. And they were sitting in their cars doing nothing, waiting to be So when I hear sometimes stories about blah, 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 I wonder, do they really remember? Anyway, so we teamed up with LDP. So immediately after the referendum, they were sacked. The LDP group who had joined the part of NAC, they were sacked. So we were happy. Now we could work together. They have been sacked, we have been victimized, so we teamed up. Fast forward, we went round after winning the no, and we said, this can be a party, the Orange Democratic Movement. And Your Excellency, you'll remember in Kisumu, that big, huge rally where they were singing, Ruto, Ruto, Ruto. Because you had done a very good campaign, so they thought we won the election, we won the no, because you did a wonderful campaign. So we said we can go and form a party. So we agreed to go and meet in Machakos, this place called Kwashambungo. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but we went there and agreed in principle that let's form a party. Now, Your Excellency, His Excellency the President had shown presidential ambitions. Raila was there, Mudavadi was there, Achiba Lala was there, Hormanyaga was there. They had said they want to be president. And you can see, in ambition, you must be ambitious. Kuwa presidency raisi. So they went into a room themselves to discuss who will be. I think they must have been discussing, he might tell us, they must have been discussing who would be chairman. But then they agreed that none of them who has presidential ambitions should be chair. So they said, who should be given the interim chairman? So Julius Kemboy, who was one of the lawyers who was inside, and Otieno Kachwang was also in the meeting. Julius was the first one to come and said, would you like to be chairman? I said, of course, yes, I don't mind being chairman. And then Otieno Kachwang followed. Otieno Kachwang came to try and convince me to be chairman. I was already convinced. So we agreed. They came, the rest of the positions, I think, you came later. After that, Kwashambungo as acting secretary. Then we went to Naivasha to strategize now on what the party principles and values are. And we had a very big argument on who should be members. Individual members, and of course Uhuru and Kanu and Gideon were still in Kanu. We were also in Kanu. And they said, let's have also corporate members. And for a whole 2 days we talked about who should be member, corporate or individuals only. Raila was for individuals. We talked over, we agreed, let's have both individual members and corporate. So we went out of our way to accommodate Kanu. So we came in, and then we now came to Nairobi to register. the ODM. And we found out that a mischievous character called Manyara, with maybe I can't call it, maybe a sinister motive, had registered our party. How come? Who is this Manyara? We haven't even known him. I think I've met the character twice. Is he here? Papi, he's around, eh? One day he will tell us his motive. So, we decided no. Let's register ODM Kenya. So, we went ahead and registered ODM Kenya. It was not easy. The government refused to register. But through connections here and there, Janet, the first executive officer, knew some people in the register of societies, and we managed to register ODM Kenya. But because we could not be officials, because if we had become officials, we would have had to resign from our seats as members of parliament. So we took, but a little bit, they even refused to give us a certificate of registration. So we went and I climbed up Sharia House, there's a wall, it's not a wall, it's a barrier. And we got the certificate anyway. And I was trying to carry to show the people. And the young people from Kibera, you know how they are. They wanted to grab the certificate. And I was holding it in my hands, and they eventually broke the glass, and it cut my hand here. I have a mark. And then we went with it to Uhuru Park, trying to have a small rally. And the police came and tear gassed us. First time nilikula tear gas. Kwa hivyo kama hujakula tear gas, hujapata chochote. Anyway, so we registered the party under Maanzo and I don't know who else. Maybe the president knows. I don't know all of them. You know, age is catching up on me. But we got so we went to Panafric Hotel. At that time, there was still push and we were still pulling. Uhuru was still pulling, but I don't know what he wanted, and we had given corporate members. So I called him, I said, Uhuru, go back to your people. Don't come and harass us here. Go back to Kano and build your base there. We will remain here. And then Kalonzo also, and Mutula Senior, still continued wanting, kumbe they knew. The next thing, they ran away with the party. That Daniel Maanzo. Huh? So we were partyless. We were ODM but without any party. They had run away with the party. So now we thought of, what shall we do? What shall we do? Manyara has registered the other one. Here is ODMK is gone. So we thought, well, let's register for ODM Asili or ODM Original. So we were still debating. But the party leader, Honorable Raila, and his soul rest in peace, you know, he was a good thinker. So one day, when we were still talking, there was a restaurant somewhere we used to go sometimes on Lanana Road. he said, Kumbe he had actually decided to approach Imanyara and, well, asked what you want. The rest you can conclude. So Raila told us, we have the party. We have the ODM now. So, hallelujah. Now we are back to, we have not formed the ODM original or ODM that. So we continued now as a party towards the election of 2007. And I can tell you, it was a hot election. And I can tell you, we fought on principles. We came up with that Maisha Bora. What was it again? Chungwa Moja, Maisha Bora. We came up with that one. But let me tell you also, at that time, there was also this idea of Machimbo. Machimbo. Everybody thought Machimbo meant, some ethnic, occupation, particularly in Rift Valley. Nobody wanted to hear we wanted Machimbo. But our brothers thought Machimbo means being expelled from an area. So we thought of, what shall we do? What is the next word? What is the next one? So one day, Rosemary, is Rosemary here? Rosemary Adinga came up with the word ukatusi. So that's how, a young lady comes up with an alternative. We were wondering, what shall we call it? Is there no other word other than Machimbo? Maybe we should have asked watu wa pwani watuambie. But imagine a young lady from Nyanza came up with the word ukatusi. Up to now, I don't even know what ukatusi means, but we used it anyway as ukatusi. So because one of the principles of ODM was devolution, to have a devolved government. We used to say we don't want an imperial presidency, we want to devolve power and resources. Fast forward, 2013, 2007, of course, everybody knows, the results. What happened? We were beaten. The president and I, we were still arguing with Kivuitu about 6 o'clock. Then the police came and clobbered us, beaten us, and Itere, who was then the commandant of the Cheshu, I think he was rewarded eventually. He became commissioner of police. Came and grabbed Kivuitu, took him to State House to go and announce the winner, in quotes. And we were left almost orphaned. We went to some place near Hurlingham there, just to watch the swearing in at 7 p.m. So we watched, then we decided, what shall we do? As we were coming out, the country erupted. People started, the fighting that happened, the post-election violence. And then, worse still, they came back and said we had planned it. And case one, the president, Sang, and myself, we ended up 8,000 kilometers away in a court. The most unjust thing. I always ask the president, shall we ever get justice for being dragged all the way to 8,000 kilometers to be charged over Can you imagine one of the items on the charges is rape? Imagine me being charged for rape. Anyway, I don't want to go into too much history. So that is that. And then, of course, after 2007,